I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about she is very confused.
I'm just so confused.
Like, that's who I'm talking about. Coach Victoria is very confused.
We're kidding. Before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if you would like to talk about your situation one-on-one with one of us, you can do so by going to the website and booking from there. That is one thing I'm not confused about.
That's right. Nice and easy to do. Be happy to help you out. You know, one of the things that we don't think about or realize is that people's interest level is going to change in a relationship. We kind of assume that once somebody gets in a relationship, that's it. It's forever. Yeah. They're gonna stay there no matter what, no matter how we treat them, no matter how things are going. But that's simply not the case. People leave when they're not happy, and they become unhappy for many reasons. Sometimes it has to do with you. Sometimes it has to do with them. But people get confused, and you can't be so sensitive to somebody's interest level dropping sometimes, because if you do, your anxiety is going to cause you to make a big mess of the situation.
Right, and it's quite normal for feelings to fluctuate.
Yeah.
I know there's this ideal of feeling the same way about a person every day and feelings only growing stronger and stronger and stronger, but it's also natural and normal for doubts to show up in relationships sometimes. Like Craig said, sometimes it might even be something not even related to the relationship that comes up that causes this person to second guess their relationship. So it happens. We have to learn how to manage it in order to have strong relationships.
And that comes with you dealing with your own attachment wounds and attachment issues. When you do that, when people get confused, you're going to be a lot less likely to make a disaster out of it. Right. But people also get confused at the time of the breakup, right? And so people aren't sure what they want. They change their mind, but they have to be very careful, because if they lower their guard too much, you're probably going to pressure and bully them, and that's not going to make them want to come back either. Right.
Then they're going to feel pressured, they're going to feel shamed and confused.
So today we've got an email coaching for a couple in their mid-20s. They said, "Hi, Coach Craig. Stacy broke up with me 10 days ago after 2.5 years together. Our relationship was great. We love each other deeply and we had great sex. She was anxious and always feared that I would leave her or think that I didn't love her." Now, see that again, that's talking more to do about her own attachment issues than it has to do with him, right? "Sometimes I wanted to study or to be with my friends alone or going to the gym." So that's normal and natural, but I get the vibe that he's probably avoidant, right? "Also, she expected me to move in with her. I'm probably going to be promoted next year. My plan was to wait so I could afford to live with her, and she knows it, but she thought it was an excuse." Well, it's a reason, but it also kind of is an excuse, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do see this come up very often, especially with that woman-man dynamic. The man is very investment-minded, sometimes more logical and likes to plan, practical in that sense. And they don't really think about, well, maybe I should reassure my partner now to let her know how I am investing in our future. The partner often feels neglected, emotionally distanced. So this is just a pattern that I see repeated over and over and over again, where a man has this deep sense of needing to be a provider for their partner. So they're very focused on that, and it's harder for their partner to see that, but it's also hard for them to learn how to connect with their emotions and provide emotionally. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, in the spring, she broke up with me. She felt very lonely and that she was way too dependent on me. She had to see if she would be okay by herself. Ideally, it would have been nice if she did that before she got into a relationship. So now she's trying to figure out if that's where she's at.
Well, it also sounds like because of that neglect, she's realized that she can't rely on him for that emotional support. And so she's decided, it's almost like she went through the process of being avoidant herself. She decided, well, I'm giving up on this. I need to learn how to depend on myself, which sounds kind of healthy to me.
The next day I talked to her explaining that I deeply love her. Okay, so this is what we see a lot. The avoidant who's been neglectful and wanting to go out and do all these other things. It's like, wait a minute. Now that you're leaving, I've got news. Got big news. Guess who loves you? Guess who wants to be with you forever? Right? I mean, it's kind of like we see it all, all the time. That I want to live with her. Well, no surprise there. I could have predicted he was going to do this, honestly. This happens so often. Also, that I could move in immediately. All of a sudden, the funds are there. I got them.
Wow.
If that was what it took, she would have to pay for almost everything. Okay. That sounds like a great deal for her. I get to pay for everything if you move in? No, almost everything. Not everything. Just almost everything.
Oh my God.
I'll buy the toilet paper. About her dependency, I told her that we could work on that together. After 10, because he's like, oh, no, I'll be there to work on it with you now. But he probably wasn't offering that before she said she was going to leave, which is what we see a lot. We're laughing about this because we see this so often. I mean, several times a week at least, right?
Yeah, but we know that this is someone who is avoidant. I don't know if they've realized it or not yet. They may be avoidant. Yeah. And now they're trying to overcompensate. And this is a person who's now experiencing that anxiety. And so it is a bit humorous to us because we see this pattern over and over again. And because there is just an immediate flip. You know, we also have to be thinking, what is his ex thinking? Because the ex is experiencing this 180 also and probably is confused.
Shocked.
Yeah.
And you can almost wonder, you could almost expect him to be like, is he told her that he's going to change yet or that he's changed?
Right.
Because that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
But he's already kind of done that by saying, I'll move in now. After 10 days of no contact at night, she texted me saying she missed me. We spent a whole day together. We talked about how we suffered. We had a great time and said, I love you to each other a lot. A week later, after no contact, she texted me again. We spent the weekend together. She said that if we were to get back together, we would have to communicate better. I said that I could move in immediately to her place, and she got really happy. Yeah, because she wanted this all along, but there's usually resentment. So let's see if that happens. Because it's like, but wait a minute. Why now? Why do you want to move in now when you could have moved in with me all this time? We began to see each other more and more. We would only see each other when she said so. She noticed I was upset. Uh-oh. So now he's getting anxious. We talked about it. She said that she was considering getting back together, but she was really confused. We got back together. With time, I noticed she was very resentful, like I just said. I just said she was going to be resentful. She broke up with me a month later. She said that after we broke up the first time, something changed. She was fine alone, and she wanted to live new things. She told me she was planning on going back to Europe in August to spend a year there and to study. Out of the blue, that's what he says. She admitted she is very confused right now about everything. We talked a few days ago. I agreed that we shouldn't be together right now. Since she told me she's going to travel, I didn't try to stop her. I said it would be good for her, but I told her I was afraid to lose her, and that's not going to help. But he handled the first part well about travel, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, not trying to stop her.
But then saying he was scared to lose her, that's not going to help his case.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. She said she was afraid too, but will take the risk. Ouch. That hurts, right? You're like, I'm afraid to lose it. And she's like, yeah, I'm afraid too, but I'm still doing it.
But not that afraid.
Ow! Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my gut.
And I mean, at this moment, she's prioritizing her own independence.
Yeah.
She's prioritizing herself, which is something he's not used to. He's used to being able to spend time alone, being able to spend time with friends, focus on work,
Yep.
whatever it is, and her to be there. So it seems like to me like she's felt like a background character in his life for some time now.
Yep.
And now she's living her main character moment where she's able to go to Europe,
Yeah.
spend her time there, really focus on herself. And so it's interesting to me because this is one of those...
Part of this is she wanted this for so long.
Yeah.
And now when she has the opportunity to get it, she doesn't really want it. Because I think he came on too strong here.
Right. And he's experiencing what she's experienced for
That's
such
right.
a long time. And if you're avoidant and you're watching this and you're experiencing anxiety after a breakup, connect with yourself. You can watch all these videos on how your ex might be feeling. You might be confused on how your ex is feeling, but if you can connect with that anxiety and that feeling of, I might lose this person that I love so deeply, you will be able to better understand the anxious attachment style.
Never take people for granted. If you take them for granted, it's going to lead to a lot of mistakes. She admitted she has complicated behavior, but she clearly is resentful towards me. I'm not surprised. She feels like I could have given her more attention, and she's right, and that I could have moved in with her. She's right. But now she doesn't want that. Not surprised. People do a lot of very similar things. None of this is a surprise to me. A lot of this is, I could have told you these things are going to happen. It's so interesting how people just do the same things, right? We were talking about that earlier today.
And what's interesting to me is I don't see the situation and think that the solution was he had to move in immediately.
No, you're right.
I see the situation and think it sounded like he needed to be there for her more emotionally throughout all of this. It sounded like she was willing to be patient had she had felt supported and had she felt that there was going to be a date where the relationship would be taken to the next level.
Well, I do think she has anxiety here, and this is on her as well, because she may have had some unreasonable needs, but we don't know. I'm speculating, but my gut is telling me that she was probably a little bit unreasonable here too. But he was also probably neglecting her. So it was both of them. The anxious-avoidant trap.
Right. And I think it was her pushing that caused him to push back and be able to say no for longer. So her pushing, I think, gave him the idea that she was going to be there no matter what. I want this. Oh, well, she wants that pretty bad. I'm going to chill out for a while. Rather than saying, oh, she wants this really bad, and I can see that this is something that's so important to my partner. I'm not emotionally ready for that big change yet. How can I communicate with her like an adult about these things? How can I make her needs seem important here too? They are important, but how can I highlight them, acknowledge them, let her know that I understand how important this is to her?
Oh, that is so important. All right, we got a little bit more here. Okay. She said that getting back together is a possibility and that we could contact each other when she gets back and see if things work out again. And that's how she's feeling about it right now. I said that I love her, that I want to marry her, and to have kids with her. This is standard avoidant is dumped behavior, unfortunately, because now it's going to overwhelm her. I said that I would always remember and consider that she will come back. She replied, I love you. I left her house happy. I know she loves me, and she knows I love her. I intend to get her back with her in the future. How should I approach this situation? Okay, well, first of all, remember that this is how she's feeling about the situation right now, and don't pressure her. I'm not sure what she's going to do, if she's going to go off to Europe for a year and study. Obviously, if she does that, that's going to change a lot of this situation, right? It doesn't mean she couldn't come back in a year, but at the same time, you don't want her to feel like she's going to outgrow you. And you really have to work on being a more emotionally attuned partner and healing your avoidant attachment style, because she's going to think about that when coming back. She's going to wonder if being with an avoidant is going to be right for her because she felt so neglected for so long.
Right.
And rightfully so. Right?
I do got to give him a lot of credit for that last statement. For him to say, I know that she loves me and she knows that I love her. That's such an incredibly reassuring statement.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like throughout all of this, as anxious as he might be here towards the end, he found something to grasp onto that's been able to help him calm down, which I think is very important.
But I do want to pause you right there.
Okay.
I don't want you to reach out
No.
to say that to your
No.
ex, because I think some people are going to hear you saying that as powerful and be like, oh, then I should say that to my ex. No,
This is
we're
for
not
you.
telling you to reach out to say that to your ex. She's saying for yourself
Right.
to know that.
Right. So he's able to self-soothe himself to a degree. And I think it's these types of skills that would have been very useful during that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be able to know, how can I make my partner feel loved in this way? How can I express to her that I also know that she loves me back? You know, I think that's such a wholesome thing. But I do agree with you. At this point, it seems like there's been enough damage done that she's decided, I want to do my own thing. I really need to figure this out on my own. I've been hurt to the extent that I need to build myself up in order to be in this relationship again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, he has got to work on that avoidant attachment style and learn to be a better partner. So she doesn't feel so hurt and neglected, because, you know, people are going to leave. They can only stand that feeling of being alone and lonely for so long.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when he's scared of losing her, to make all these promises, you know, part of her is happy about it, but part of her is angry and resentful like she was. And it's no surprise, because those are the things that people go through in these kind of situations.
Right. And if you don't learn these deeper skills about how to manage your attachment style, how to truly show up for a partner, you might have immediately moved in, and what might have happened, which is also what sounds like she was afraid would happen, is that complacency would come back knocking on that door some months later, and she would be neglected, but this time in her own home. You know, so I know that sounds harsh, but that's the situation.
It's not harsh. It's true.
At. And if I were her, I would have that hesitance too.
Yeah, she'd be foolish and naive to just ignore his behavior in the relationship. Anybody would be. You have to think about these things. Like, why would she think he's going to change magically all of a sudden? Now, many people don't know about our channel and the things that we teach. And so, you know, you're like, yeah, I know, but I'm learning all this stuff, which is true. But your ex isn't going to understand it, so you don't want to sit there and try and, you know, present like, oh, I'm this new amazing person. Just show them the changes naturally on their own and let them see that for themselves.
One thing I will say, it does sound like she's receptive. She's been open to conversation after the breakup. You know, she said very loving things after the breakup to you. It sounds like she's, you know, open and willing to have those conversations. Doesn't mean that you should push or take advantage of that. But it does make me think you'll probably have another opportunity here in the future to be able to show her some of those skills naturally.
But don't come on too strong. That would probably be the biggest mistake he could make here, is coming on too strong, which he already was kind of doing. But hopefully he followed the advice of the email coaching and and followed all the strategies that I gave him there, because that is going to be making it a lot more likely for this to turn around. All right. So, hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.